What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl as we welcome in today Detroit sports legend. You know him. He is T-Foss, Terry Foster in the house. Darren McCarty, Joik Bell with the day off today. I'm sure Darren's golfing somewhere.
I was going to say you don't have as much energy today. It's just me.
Oh, no, Terry, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. You'll be able to fill the void of two men. We know that. But again, my name is Neal Ruhl. Happy you are with us, whether you're watching on the app, on YouTube as well, on the YouTube channel. Last week for Facebook Live, by the way. So if you guys are watching on Facebook, make sure you get that Woodward Sports app. Download that in your respective app store. Any way you can consume the show, we're certainly glad that you are. We take your contributions, your comments, everything. We'll get to those as the day goes on. But, you know, Terry, we're going to get to the Detroit Lions. We got a Monday football power hour, as I like to call it. We're going all football for the first hour as football is back in the house. But before we do that, Terry, I have to get the update. I know you've been struggling with the whole power scene.
Yes.
The T-Foss residence, the Chateau, has been without power for a long time. Give us the update. Are you back online?
The update is we're back online, but we did not have TV or internet. So someone had to come in and fix our internet, hook our TVs back up because they weren't working. So we had the power. But, I mean, if you don't have internet or TV.
Do you really have power, too?
Right. You got light bulbs, and that's about it. So, but now I'm fully functional. We're trying to get that internet back up to speed. Once that's good, I'm 100%. But there's still people without power.
Yeah, there is. There's no question about that. My brother-in-law actually works for DTE. We were talking over the weekend. He said this is unprecedented since he's been with the company. That the full scope of what's going on is incredible.
I know, and the storm in the grander scheme wasn't that rough. At least
Right.
It wasn't that rough where we were. But because we had a storm earlier this summer where there's trees over the road, knocked down. They fell on roofs. Not destroyed houses, but damaged houses. This one didn't do any of that, but it had more effect as far as power outages, the internet being out, TV being out. So I don't know what was up with this storm.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's no question about it. Still thousands of people without power. So, keep up the fight. You guys have come this far. I know that the end is near. But, yeah, Terry, we have a ton of football to get into, a football blitz hour. It's a power hour of football. And of course, we're going to start with the Detroit Lions, a 16-15 loss to the Buffalo Bills at Ford Field on really, Terry, what turned out to be an electric Friday night in the Detroit sports scene. We saw Comerica Park jump back to life. Pistons in the Summer League got some wins as well. But we are going to start with the Detroit Lions. And, Terry, look, I know everyone around town right now is saying, hey, it's a preseason game. There's not really much you can take away from it. This doesn't dictate a failing season, a winning season, any of that. I do have some concerns. You and I were talking before the show. There are some concerns. But before we get into that, what did you like from the Detroit Lions, if anything?
I don't get much out of preseason games.
Right.
I mean, I think the real issue and the thing that people need to be concerned about is Dan Campbell a dumbass because of the way that game ended. He passes twice when, conventional wisdom says run out the clock or run the clock down as much as you can and kick that chip shot field goal. And then at the end, he had a timeout left after David Blau was sacked. So in my mind, two things happened. Dan Campbell wanted to see David Blau pass in a critical situation. He didn't do what he would have done, I would hope, during the regular season, and that's run the clock down and kick a chip shot field goal. Now, if this was a regular season game, that's what we'd be talking about. We'd be all over this man, and we should be. To me, preseason games are so unimportant that I'm not concerned by that because I have to believe that in a regular season game, Dan Campbell said, okay, Buffalo has 2 timeouts. We're already in chip shot field goal position, so we're going to run the ball down, clock down as much as we can, and then kick the field goal. I have to believe that's what he would have done.
Right, and that's something where You and I are in lockstep about that. The biggest problem I have, I don't care so much about the end of the game with letting the clock go down, 20 seconds left or whatever. I don't have a huge problem with that because, again, the preseason games are 1,000% meaningless unless you fire up your MyBookie app or something like that. Then it means a lot to you, but we'll touch on MyBookie later. But with all that being said, I don't have a huge problem with that. I do, however, have a big problem with having the football post 2-minute warning, first down, Buffalo has 2 timeouts left, that pass route to the sideline where the receiver makes a catch and steps out of bounds. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of the talk around town is they don't seem to be that upset about it, but I do have an issue with it. Now,
why do you care?
Because we've seen this, Terry. Has the clock been an issue for the Detroit Lions?
Yes.
Has clock management been an issue for the Detroit Lions?
Yes.
So you'll have to excuse me if I'm staggered a little bit.
With a different coach.
Which different coach?
Jim Caldwell. Mostly.
Mostly. But ... The message remains the same. And there's 2 things, Terry, and you and I have done enough shows together. There's 2 things about NFL football that I think are the biggest. From a 30,000 foot perspective, it's the rookie contract. You've heard me talk about that before.
Heard you say that a few times.
Contract. Number 2 is the clock management. Because it's all you have. You only have 3 timeouts. You need to understand the math of the situation. And it's not clock management, it's math, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I'm of the opinion, and I know it's preseason, and you just heard me say it doesn't matter. If you're in position to win a football game, you put a lot of effort into this football game.
Well, it matters because you're turning red right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're in a position to win a football game with the preparation that goes into it, and I know it's a preseason, I know you're not going to quote-unquote game plan for the opponent, but you did to some degree. Those guys game plan, those guys practice, they went through everything. At that point, you go win the football game. And I know people are saying, well, do you really need to run it into the pile 3 times and then kick a field goal? Do you really need to practice that? You need to practice winning. Everybody was out there. They laid it all on the line. I am of the opinion when you're in a position to go win the football game, you go win the football game. And if you want to isolate that, if Dan Campbell comes out in the press conference and says, look, and he talked out of both sides of his mouth as far as this is concerned that I'm of the opinion of. He said, I did some things differently, and I'm paraphrasing right here. I did some things differently that I might not normally do to get a look at some guys that I didn't get a look at. But then he also, where he lost me was at the end of that very same quote, he talked about how we're in a position to win the football game. We want to win the football game. You had the football game won. And I'm not big on you set the tone or mentalities or stuff like that. I'm not big on that. But when you're in a position to win a football game, Terry, you go win the damn football game, man.
Okay. I think there are things he wanted to see. And that was, to him, was more important than winning a meaningless football game. Whether they lost 16-15 or won 15-13, it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things.
No, I don't.
But I think you have to take Dan Campbell as a football coach and believe, and this is a big believe that as a man who's played the game, coached the game, seen a million games, would never, ever do this in a preseason, in a regular season game. He would never, ever be trailing by 2 points and let the clock run out.
Right, which in a regular, I'm with you on that. In a regular season scenario, he would not, I'm of the opinion he would not do that. But damn it, Terry, I'm scarred, man. I'm scarred from the Jim Caldwell 2 watch days. I'm scarred from the Marty Morningwig era, the Matt Millen regime. We've seen these things before. And will I give him the benefit of the doubt? I'll look in the camera. Yes, I will give him the benefit of the doubt because it's one preseason game. However, I've seen this shit before, Terry. We all have seen this shit before.
I'm sure you have, but it was in the regular season, and that is dangerous. But this is such a sophomoric decision that any coach, high school, grade school, elementary school coach would let the clock turn down. I refuse to believe that Dan Campbell's that stupid that he would do this in a regular season game, and you and I would be up here fighting Joik and Darren on something like this. I refuse to believe that.
No, and Terry, look, as I said, as far as the end of the game goes, letting the clock run out, I was sitting there watching it going, just let it go. Like, let's just move on because none of this matters. However, the play calling when the game was on the line, I'm not saying I'm going to die on the hill about it.
Stop.
Not going to die on the hill about
Who's
it.
contradicting themselves now? I think that's you. Because
Terry.
you said, let's create a winning culture.
No, Terry. I never said that. I never said a. Like, all right, look. Hold on. We're going to get to a break. And when we come back, we're going to settle this, Terry.
All right, let's settle it.
All right, we'll be right back. This is Big D Energy. T. Foss in for Joik Bell and Darren McCarty. I'm Neal Ruhl on Woodward Sports.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. Neal Ruhl, T. Foss, Terry Foster, Detroit sports media legend with you. Joik Bell, Darren McCarty off today. But I'm happy to have you with us. However you're consuming the show on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, also on the app, the Woodward Sports app. If you haven't yet, slide into that app store, your Google Play store, however you do it. Get that Woodward Sports app. Everything's right at your fingertips. Very easy to roll out. But T, before we cut to the break here, you were busting my chops about something I didn't really say. You're saying...
Tell me what you said.
I am saying that it is concerning to me, but I'm not going to die on the hill. I'm certainly not going to die on the hill about the end of the game. I'm cool with that. You and I are cool. We're cool right there.
Bam.
We're deep in the streets with each other on
right.
that. However, the play calling concerns me. And I'm of the opinion they were in a position to win a football game that a lot of resources went into to prepare for. Guys' blood, sweat, all that stuff. Not for the quote-unquote culture of winning. To make me, it's about me, Terry. It's about me.
Oh, to make you feel good.
To make me feel better.
Okay.
Because, Terry, we did the show last week, and I sat there and talked about what's the biggest thing I want to see from Dan Campbell, the clock management. Remember, I said these very words in this exact same chair. We're 0 for 1 so far, and it's not the end-all, be-all, but I'm not at DEFCON 5, but I'm not at DEFCON 1 either.
But baby boy, why were you concerned about them not winning the game for you with a minute 30 seconds, but you didn't
because
care.
Of the scenario.
You
because
didn't care
of the scenario.
that they didn't try to extend the game and try to win it.
If they would have did the proper clock management, they wouldn't have had to let the last 20 seconds run out because they would have won the football game.
But they had an opportunity to win the game, is my point, in the last 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You call timeout, you get,
Now that's different, and here's why it's different. When you're in a 20-second no timeout situation, now you're in an all-out, if you're going to win the football game, you're in an all-out situation where, people are at risk in those types of scenarios where, you're gonna put it all on the line to win a regular season game. But in the preseason, 20 seconds left, no timeouts, that's when a blitzing linebacker gets to the quarterback unevaded. That's when guys go over the middle to try to catch up. You know what I'm saying? Like the threat level's higher. So I don't have a big problem with that. But if you're in a position where clock management will win you the game, then you manage the clock and you win the game, man.
If it was September, October, November, I'd be all with you. But this is August. And I have to believe, I'm putting all my belief in a man that has a lot of football experience. There were certain things he wanted to see. He wanted to see David Blau pass the ball in critical situations. Now, it wasn't the smartest pass in the world. It's not one that I would call even a regular season game. But I thought maybe he believed that running the ball into the gut twice, kicking a chip shot field goal was meaningless from the standpoint is what am I going to learn about my team?
Then say that to me. Then come out in that press conference and say that to me. And you don't have to use those exact words if you don't want to, but say it without saying it. That's my point about it, is make that known. Don't talk about how you want to get a look at guys. And look, I feel like right now I'm coming off as hey, you're blasting Dan Campbell and everyone, what's wrong with you and stuff. No, I'm not blasting him. I'm saying, because what's the thing that the media and what's the thing that the fans like about Dan Campbell? He communicates, man. He has things to say. It's not coach speak. He tells you what he's thinking. So when you're in that presser, just say, hey, we may have handled some situations differently, especially inside 2 minutes, but I want to look at some guys in some spaces.
Okay, gut
cool,
feeling.
I got you.
I want you to reach into your gut.
All right.
Is your gut feeling telling you Dan Campbell, dumbass or not?
No. I mean, we're not there yet. We're one preseason game in, so we're not to that level. No, I'm very mildly concerned about the clock management.
So it's
because
at least in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it's in the back of my.
Okay,
That's fair.
all right.
That's fair. See, Terry, we're educated men with great respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
We sit here and talk these things through. We're intelligent for the most part. You probably a little more than me. Yeah, but with all that being said, see, we found some common ground, Terry. That's what's great about America. But, there's some other stuff we're going to talk about later. Maybe we're farther away from common ground in America than we think. These sports fans, man, are getting out of control. But, it is. It's the Monday Football Power Hour here on Big D Energy on Woodward Sports. So we'll get past that. What about Dan Campbell, game plan-wise, offensively, defensively? What were your impressions of Dan Campbell and his coaching staff?
I really, once again, it's preseason. I really don't pick up things because I know that teams will be completely different in the regular season. They hide things. They don't want you to see, their dream plays. So I just don't do that in the preseason, especially in football. Because football is so secretive and we don't want to show anything. And did he handle himself as a professional on the sideline? I think he did. Did he go all bozo and everything? That's the only thing I was concerned about. Was he going to put on his clown makeup and have a bozo wig on? He didn't do that. So I am fine with how he handled himself and how he handled the team. And I think his guys played with some emotion and with some energy. That's what I want to see.
And I will give you that because they look like they want to play for that dude. And certainly, you look at guys like Julian Aquara that played a lot for the dude.
And probably shouldn't have been in the game because he's a valuable piece. I wouldn't have had him in the fourth quarter. That's one thing I criticize. Yeah, when he was showing out against the second and third team, we already know what he can do. And so he was padding up stats or padding up game film. I just think that was unnecessary.
Sure, and that's fine, and people can make a valid criticism about that. He even talked about that. He said, hey, he might have played too many plays there. But I get that. You're in the heat of the moment. What you got, Art?
Just two things. For one, as a diehard 10-7, this is where we're landing. I will admit that just running the clock and just saying, oh, okay, we're not going to do any sideline passes or anything, we're just going to give it up. I feel like that was one of the worst decisions to make because we were down by 1 point. The other thing is, though, is that I have to sit back and realize that this is the preseason. This is where we're supposed to be getting the jitters out and everything. But as a coach, I felt like that was a very wrong move to make of Dan Campbell. Why not? It's preseason. I mean, I understand injuries, but why wouldn't you go for it? What do you have to lose? It's not going to impact your record.
I honestly believe it's because of the style of football that comes in with that Hail Mary-ish, go across the middle, blitzing linebacker. As I talked with Terry, the blitzing linebackers or a secondary blitz, if the defense chooses to go that route, people get unaccounted for in those situations, and you're exposed. And I really believe that's why they just said, we're good with that. Again, just going back to it, my problem is the clock management leading up to that.
Would you have gone for it?
When there's 20 seconds left? No, I would have. When the ball was inside the 20-yard line, inside the 2-minute warning, Buffalo has 2 timeouts. I'm going to run the ball 3 times, and I'm going to kick my field goal and take the lead. Then Buffalo's going to have no timeouts,
right?
Roughly about 30 seconds to play with, and then they can say, we're good here. And it's not, again, guys, don't get it twisted. It's not because you got to go win the preseason game. It's because I'm scarred as a fan. So maybe those are my insecurities coming through, Terry. Maybe I'm just wounded.
Do you respect Bill Cowher?
Do I respect? Yeah, how can you not? Absolutely.
When he was the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he came in to Ford Field, or Ford's Field as some people call it, with his powerful Steelers team, and he ran the football probably 40, 50 times. I don't know how many times.
Even down, I remember that game, like down like 20 points or whatever they were.
3rd and 15, I'm running the ball. Because what he wanted to do is, what is my team going to be like when I've got to run the football for real? I think coaches look for certain things. How does my team respond in certain situations? How does my coaching staff respond in certain situations? Now, where I will criticize Dan Campbell from this standpoint, yeah, maybe he wanted to see David Blau make some pressure throws, if you want to call them. But a lot of these guys on the field, you know what they're going to be doing in 2 months? You want to have it your way? I'm working at Burger King. Right. I got a little hat on and a red sweater. They're not going to be in the league. So I don't care if they can handle pressure in the last 2 minutes of the game. I don't care if they can run the ball for 5 yards when it's 3rd and 4. I don't care if they can kick a chip shot field goal and hold Buffalo off. I don't care, because I know y'all going to be out there walking the streets just like you and I are doing. So I don't think it's really that important to see what these guys can do, except for your backups. You're trying to decide who's your 2nd and 3rd string guys.
Yeah, and practice squad guys. You want guys that'll give your starters good reps and all that stuff. I get that. I understand all that. But for me, it's just because the kicking thing is a thing for the Detroit Lions. For maybe the first time, hell, since Eddie Murray. We had that little gap between Eddie Murray and Jason Hansen when Rich Carlos was here kicking the barefoot field. Remember the barefoot field goals?
Sure.
Those were great days. But through all that, the kicking thing is a situation with the Lions. I want to see, can you do it with all eyes on you, with the game on the line and everything like that. I do want to see those scenarios. And I guess theoretically it was the same. It was a post 2-minute warning. If you miss it, you lose the game. I get that. But again, I'm not saying it creates a culture. I'm just saying go win the football game, Terry, when you're in a position to win the game, Terry. Win the game. Neal Ruhl here for Northwestern Tech. Start a new career in an industry that's always essential, the heating and cooling industry, as Terry Foster can understand, certainly, when there's no power.
Yes.
Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on Woodward Sports. T-Foss is in with me, Detroit sports media legend Joik Bell, Darren McCarty out today. My name is Neal Ruhl, television voice of the Golden Grizzlies, Detroit City FC. Do some soccer for ESPN as well. Backup play-by-play guy for the Pistons. Happy to be with you all today on a Power Hour. That's right. Football Power Hour here on Monday. We'll be looking to do this on Mondays after every football weekend. We got to pop in, wrapped up that Lions discussion, their preseason loss to the Bills. But, Terry, there was something else that happened in the NFL world, and this is also something that's of growing concern to me. And last week we talked about the Field of Dreams game for Major League Baseball, and everybody on social media loved it because, let's be honest, Terry, Major League Baseball is taking their fair share of lumps as of late. This is a game, and don't believe me, there are a lot of baseball fans. Hell, I'm a baseball fan. This is a game that is seeing ratings go down, attendance go down, interest go down, certainly with the younger generation. There was a situation in the Indianapolis Colts preseason game against Carolina. Benny LeMay, a running back, he's a dude that's fighting, as you see it right here. He's a dude that's fighting for a spot, fighting for a job, all that stuff. You see a big, powerful run here. I mean, look at that. Pushing the pile. That's preseason football. Like, dudes are playing for their lives, as you said. You know, some of these guys are going to be delivering packages for Amazon and working out. But LeMay had a big-time run, as you see, and got flagged for taunting for that. And the reason I bring this up, because I feel that the NFL is teetering towards this way, where they're going very MLB with this stuff. No emotion, no fun. Appeal to the older demographic that says, "Oh, you don't show up the opponent." And he's not. This dude isn't showing up the opponent, Terry. This is a guy fighting for his life that's fired up because he made a big run. And I believe that with this, and we're seeing it to a lesser degree with the quarterback situation and the pass interference and all that kind of stuff, I really think that the NFL, who ask their guys to be the ultimate gladiators, to play a game where every play could be your last. NFL guys, Terry, you know this, they have to go to a place mentally that the common person, you and I, are not capable of going to when they step out on that
They turn
field.
into something else.
Bingo.
Have you seen the way they fire each other up before games? Now, here's the dangerous thing. Now, the NFL has decided, let's put in a new taunting policy. Let me ask you, in your experiences, did you hear people complaining about too much taunting in the NFL? I didn't either.
Because it's an entertainment-based league, like all sports. Terry, I'll give you this story real quick. My most favorite sports teams of all time, the UNLV college team when I was a little kid. Loved it.
I hope we're talking basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. all
The
right.
Miami Hurricanes football team.
Okay.
Loved them. Why? Because they were entertaining to watch, man. They did things like that. It was fun. This is fun. What he did was fun. That stirs emotion in me. I want to root for this guy now, and he's getting a 15-yard flag, and we're seeing it all the time.
To me, it wasn't even that bad.
And it wasn't bad. I didn't even bring that up.
The dude, hanging on by a shoestring, makes a play like this where he's moving the pile. You're
That's
not going to
a
get
big-time
up and
play.
say, yeah, look what I did.
Yeah, and that's NFL football, right? Like that's about taking on multiple people and he was victorious in a gladiator situation. Hell yeah, he's going to be fired up about that, especially in the preseason, given what's on the line for him.
Here's what they do in the NFL. All week long, they turn you into a gladiator, crush, kill, destroy. And then when you actually crush, kill, and destroy, you're supposed to walk off and say, okay, yeah, that was a good play. I'm really proud of myself. And that's it.
Yeah, like a dude like Barry Sanders was built differently, because I saw this a lot on social media where you had people that would say, well, whatever happened to Barry Sanders, who just flips the football to the referee?
Barry's one in a million.
Barry was built different, man.
Right.
Barry, I've always said this, and you and I have talked about this before in past sports radio lives and everything like that, where Barry was just good at football. ... In my opinion, it was a job to Barry. And he did his job, and he punched out, and he went home, man.
Yes.
Like that, he's not fighting for his life like this because, as Wayne Font said, I treat everybody the same, differently. And Barry was the differently. Rules didn't apply to Barry. So with all that being said, I'm tired of seeing this where they are legislating entertainment out of the game. And if they're not careful, Terry, it's going to hurt them.
Right.
It's going to hurt them. And, it's a situation where with NFL football, they're going down a very slippery slope as far as their engagement with the younger generation. Somebody like me who watches sports for entertainment. Fish and I talked about this. Fish is in the bowl today. The soccer teams I watch, because they play entertaining styles. They're not out there. It's not 0-0. They're playing 4-2 matches. I want entertainment, Terry. I want what we saw from Benny LeMay. And the NFL is trying to take that away. Why? Why do you think that is?
I think they listen too much to their older fans who spend money. And some of these people are outraged by when people celebrate. Oh, look at them. That's unprofessional. That's not right. I think we need to take these people and put them on the back burner. Because in all of sports, in all society, what you need to be looking at is, what is my younger demographic, the people who are going to spend money in 5-10 years, what do they think?
Right.
Or the people in their 30s now. Because people my age, who gives a good damn? I've already spent my money. I've already done that. So I'm out the door. So you need to look at the younger people. And like I said, I don't hear outrage from any NFL fans. But I think, some old farts got Goodell's ear, and he decided, let's do this.
Yeah, and for me, again, it just goes back to it where I'm tired of seeing this. And the NFL, look, we know the NFL is a Teflon league, man. I'll do the MyBookie read. I know you guys are going to fire up your phone and you're going to bet on the Monday Night Football game, the Sunday Night Football game, the Sunday afternoon game. I know you're going to. And God bless you. The state needs the tax dollars. Good for you. You live your best life. But they're going down a very slippery slope that we're seeing Major League Baseball do now. Like, and look, the bat flips, Terry. The bat flips, and they're like, "Oh, you're violating the code of base." No one gives a shit about your code of baseball anymore. They did in the 1970s, okay? They did then. But you know what? We've changed. We've evolved as a society. It's YOLO now. Everyone wants to live their best life. Everyone wants to be at the big event and put it on their Instagram and all that stuff. And you know what? Good for them too. Live your best life. Do what makes you happy. But watching entertainment is what makes me happy, Terry. And the NFL's going away from this.
No, they're doing that. But look, in Major League Baseball, who are the guys that are getting the most juice? It's like Tatis Jr. They wanted to make Mike Trout the face of Major League Baseball. But guess what? The dude can play, but he's a dud off the field. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't like promoting. He doesn't like to do all this stuff. And guess what? People don't follow him like they do Tatis and guys who have a little more swagger. We want swagger. That's our new society.
Yeah, and also too, Terry, we're in very polarizing times. I don't know if you know this or not. Like
no,
very,
I haven't
very,
heard that.
very political times, Terry. Just to bring you up to speed. And look, I go up and down the whole the YouTube comments right now, where Doug Fungus says no, they're pleasing sponsors, trying to bring back those far right folks, and that I don't want to. I'm not in this office, so let me qualify this. I'm not in the NFL offices. I'm not privy to those discussions. But ... That seems like a theory that could hold some water to me, because
it could.
You look at lost television ratings and go through social media. When somebody kneels for the national anthem, there's a certain segment of folks that outrages more than anything in the world, that for whatever reason just can't watch their football game and move on. And I don't know why that is. But with all that being said, that and it's never never a single
because they've
thing.
Been lied to. That's why they can't just watch their game. They're told these are national anthem protests. They're not. They're told these are flag protests. They are not. They are protests that happen during the national anthem, happen when the flag is being raised, but it doesn't mean it's a national anthem protest. It doesn't mean it's a flag protest. And here's the thing. When they talk about these protests, all they talk about is, they kneel, they kneel. They've stopped talking about why people kneel, why people are pissed off, because then that would bring both sides into the equation. And what we do as a society is, I'll bring you what pisses me off, but I'm not going to bring the other side. And that's why one reason we're very polarized.
Yeah, and absolutely. And that's the nature of the beast as far as society goes right now. Everything is a silver bullet. There's yes and no. There's black and white. There's right and left. There is no middle ground to where I just go back to it. You like football. I know you all like football out there. The television ratings suggest it. The betting totals really suggest it.
I like my money.
Absolutely. And you can't lie to me about that. I get it. So there are some people that, even if it makes you sick to your stomach with what's going on with that, you're still going to recover and consume your football in your fantasy football league and be a part of the machine. You always are. But I just think the NFL is making a huge mistake, Terry. I really think they are, because Major League Baseball is walking proof of this. If you turn your back on that younger generation, it's hard to recover. It is. It's hard to recover.
Mm-hmm. And what do we want? We want action.
Entertainment.
Want suspense. We want entertainment. And now you're taking away something that's pretty innocent. I am sure that players from other team are not saying, oh, my God, look, he showed us up. Look at this guy. Who does he think he is? They weren't even thinking about that, because you know what? They talk shit, too. That's football. Football, you are talking to your opponent constantly during the game. You tell them how you're better than them, how they can't stop you, how you the man, how they're weak.
Gladiator.
They're slow. That's right. So if you didn't have that, I think that would take away from the game, because you all swolled up, ready to go. And like I said, Coaches get you geeked up the whole week. You the best dude in the league. You my guy. So go out there and kill him. Football is our biggest and strongest and fastest guys against their biggest, strongest, and fastest guys. And guess what? When you get those alpha males on the field, guess what happens? Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt.
And that might not be all. We're going to take a break. When we come back, speaking of feelings, this guy made some news as well. You know him. Former quarterback that's won a playoff game, that's playing tight end now. And guys, I'm going to apologize in advance. You got to see the video of this. Tim Tebow playing tight end. I know. Just hear me out here. We'll be right back. Terry Foster, Neal Ruhl, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Back at it here, Big D Energy. It's a Monday football power hour. We are back in effect. Week 1 of the preseason has come and gone. He's Terry Foster. My name is Neal Ruhl. Happy you are with us on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, if you're watching on the app as well. And if you don't have the app, I see everyone watching on the YouTube channel, commenting, taking your interactions with that. If you don't have the app, get it. It's not hard, man. Go in the App Store. Search Woodward Sports. Click install. Yeah, you're done. You're done in, depending on your Wi-Fi, if you have power, you're done in about 15 seconds. And then it's right there at your fingertips. You fire it up. You get it on your terms. Certainly glad to have you with us. You can follow us on Twitter as well. You see the Twitter handles pop up intermittently throughout the show. Art is in the producer's booth. Fish is in the fish bowl. Those guys are rocking it out like they always do. But, Terry, look, it can't be the first football power hour of the year if we're not going to talk about Tim Tebow. And I know that it's cringy for some folks. For some folks, they're big fans of him.
You know who's cringy for? Me.
Yeah.
I want to apologize to you in advance, but I refuse to talk about Tim Tebow. He does not register in my world. He's irrelevant. He means nothing to me. He means nothing in this community. I'm going to sit this one out.
Well, Terry, here's the thing, and we're showing the play right now. This went around social media. Tim Tebow at the tight end spot with the block on the running play. Was it a crushing block? Certainly it was not. But, Terry, I'll tell you this, and I've been I'm on your camp with Tim Tebow, with the exception of the fact that dude does have a playoff win. He does.
Yeah, because he had the hell of a defense.
But he beat the Steelers.
And he played like crap.
And he dropped a dime to win the football game.
Okay,
so,
one dime.
But it was in the playoffs. Terry, what if Matt Stafford had won a playoff game? How would we talk about his legacy?
I tell you what, if Matt Stafford had the team that Tim Tebow had, he probably would have taken that to the Super Bowl.
Well, and if he didn't score 6 points in the last 3 quarters against the Cowboys in the playoff game in 2014, they would have had it. But I'm not going down that road.
7 popoints were taken away, but go ahead.
Damn it, Terry, I'm not going down that route.
But you did.
But you guys saw the block. So this Tim Tebow experiment, I think he's 33 years old. He's in Jacksonville. He's trying to reinvent himself as a tight end. And I'm a Tim Tebow detractor. And there was nobody who was more against him, even going back to his Florida days. Because I really feel like at Florida, he was a creation. Every time they got the ball to the 1 yard line. In Florida, a great lineage of running backs. You know that throughout the years.
Absolutely.
So great lineage. Not good, great lineage of running backs. But when Tim Tebow was there for some reason, every time the ball's at the 1 yard line, he's always running the ball in all the time. Against the Citadel, or it didn't matter if it was Bama or the Citadel, whoever they played. I always felt like he was a bit of a creation in that respect.
But he's a big guy.
But he is a physical specimen too.
Right.
Even Terry, you got to give it up to him in that.
Bam.
He's in great shape. He's a physical specimen. But Terry, you know what? I saw a lot of backlash from that block that we just showed, where I don't even know that you call it a block. He more or less got in the way. But damn it, Terry, and I'm going to ask Joik this. I'm going to text him a little bit later on and ask him. Blocking in the NFL is a pass-fail scenario. And Terry, I don't care what anybody says, the most ardent Tim Tebow hater, what you're watching on your screen right now, that's a pass. He got in the guy's way. He did the job. He eliminated a threat to the running back. There was a big play. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying he's Gronk. I'm not saying he's TJ Hawkinson. I don't even know that he'll catch a pass in an NFL game. He did get one target, and Tavon Austin actually caught Tim Tebow's target. But through that all, Terry, he did the job there. And I will give Tim Tebow this, Terry, which I know you won't. You said it. He's a good athlete. He's a big dude. He's a strong dude. And he finds a way to succeed.
Neal, stop. Stop it right now.
Terry, he finds a way. He found a way to succeed.
That was not a block. That was a brush. That was a brush. He just kind of, slithered by the guy, and the guy was going one way, and then when he came back, there's Tim Tebow. That could have been, you could have put a rock there, and the guy would have fallen over it. Tim Tebow didn't do anything. Tim Tebow can't play. Tim Tebow is a name. Very nice guy. That's it.
And Detroit Batter 313 says on YouTube, he said, there's a lot of guys who are in shape that don't belong in the NFL, laughing my ass off. And don't get me wrong, brother. I know that. I know that. I agree with that. But I think one of the very enlightened ones on the YouTube stream, Chad, but not that Chad, says Tebow should have moved to tight end right after college. I never thought about it that way. He's probably right, man. I wonder what would have happened. But, again, he won a playoff game, man, as a quarterback.
Dude, anybody, you could have put Barry Sanders at quarterback, and he would have won that game.
He wouldn't have dropped that dime at the end of that game. 75-yard touchdown, whatever it was.
He may have been up 2 touchdowns and wouldn't have to drop the dime at the very end. So you got lucky on one play. So what?
Terry Foster, man, is the Silky Johnson of Tim Tebow, man. Hate.
If he wants to come over, to the house for dinner and discussion, that's fine. I don't want to see him on the football field. That's all I'm saying. And if he is, not on my team. I want him playing against the team I'm rooting for.
Well, I think you're compromised then when I ask you this question. Will he catch an NFL pass in regular season play?
They'll let him catch one. Yeah, he'll catch 1 or 2.
And that seems to be really the gist of the people's thoughts, certainly on the comments on social media and what I'm looking at right now, that he's Urban Meyer's guy, and he's going to be there come hell or high water. No matter what, he's going to be on that roster.
I think it's more that Urban Meyer wants to hook him up. He probably wants to give him make sure he gets a pension, make sure he gets paid. That is his guy. And sometimes in sports, guys look out for their guys. And I think Urban Meyer can only look out for Tim Tebow for 1 year. After he's exposed, there's not going to be a Tim Tebow in Jacksonville.
On YouTube, McGregor says, Terry, you're wrong on this one. That's a perfect positional block. I wouldn't go so far as to call it perfect, but again, blocking is a pass-fail scenario. Terry, you got to give it. He passed that, Terry. Come on, at least give him that.
No, he didn't pass it. He just got in the way. That's not a block. A block is when you actually touch somebody. He didn't touch the dude.
He grazed. Come on, Terry. He grazed him. Tammy Chin says it's the Terry Foster of the social media. So okay, I'm moving on. Enough time spent on Tebow.
You know what that block reminded me of? It reminded me of the pitch that hit Brandon Inge's jersey, and he didn't get first place in game 163 against Minnesota. That's what that block looked like.
The Brandon Inge hit by pitch.
That he wasn't hit by pitch. But he should have been.
He was. I mean, it hit his jersey. But no,
that's what Tim Tebow did. Hit the dude's jersey. It was the same thing.
That's a fair cut. It is amazing, though. Again, just going through the social media, and I like to keep up on it as the show goes on, because I like to, those are little tricks you use, Terry, right? When you're in this line of work, you use the comments to see how people are feeling about a topic, and you kind of size it up, and you're like, is this dying on the vine? Is this doing okay? And I knew. That's why I apologize for it straight up, because I knew there was a segment of you out there that were going to be bitter about it. But everyone makes their feelings known. I mean, what? Stepping aside, quickly before we go to the break, stepping aside with your displeasure with Tim Tebow, why is he so polarizing? Why?
Because he has won in college.
Has a Heisman Trophy.
Has a Heisman Trophy. Well, I don't think people look at the playoff win, but he's a super religious guy, and so that's going to get some people to at least pay attention to him. I think those are the major reasons. I can't think of anything else because he can't play.
But Terry, I mean, you got to admit that, though. I mean, he said this thing has set social media on fire. And look, that's social media is what's great about our society. It's also about what's very wrong with our society as well. But just whatever this guy does when he strikes out in minor league baseball or hits 215 or he, what I call a block, what Terry says no was just a graze, whatever he does, people lose their mind about. In support and against. I can't put my finger on it because he's not a great athlete per se. We've never seen like rousing success other than the 1 yard, the 75-yard 1 yard touchdown runs, 75-yard 1 yard touchdown runs he had at Florida that won him a Heisman. He's never been overly successful. I just don't get it. What's so polarizing about him? I don't, and I never will.
I think I just told you.
Yeah,
I think the religion plays a factor. The fact that he's given opportunities to succeed.
Maybe that other people wouldn't.
Then he failed. Right, the other
maybe
people
that other people wouldn't get.
Right.
And that's fair. And
he's
going to
get the hook. He gets the hook up.
Yeah, you know who else who gives you an opportunity to succeed? That's my bookie. Because in the world of sports, the offseason is a time to relax and regroup after a hard-fought season. But playing with my bookie gives you the choice to decide when your season begins and ends. At mybookie.ag, you can bet on hundreds of games from leagues all around the world. Whether it's a game day parlay or a long shot winner, my bookie's got you covered. Use pregame props or bet the game live to shift the odds in your favor and always come out on top. And not only does MyBookie host exclusive sports betting contests that you won't find with any other book, but the bonuses are insane. If you sign up today with MyBookie, use our promo code Woodward. You'll receive up to $1,000 in bonus money when you make your first deposit. That's $1,000 in extra cash when you make your first deposit with MyBookie. But remember, have to use a promo code Woodward. Get in on this football action, folks. You want to get in the preseason game? Get in the preseason game. You'll be more fired up about the clock management if you got your action on the NFL preseason with MyBookie. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Back at it here on Woodward Sports, Big D Energy. My name is Neal Ruhl. He is T. Foss, Terry Foster, Detroit sports media icon. Joique Bell, Darren McCarty have the day off today, but we're chopping it up here on a Monday football power hour. We're going to do it every Monday coming out of the football weekend. So, that it's something, it's front of mind. I just did the MyBookie read. You guys are getting your action in.
You know what we're going to do? On 5 of these Mondays, power hours, 5 of these Monday power hours, we're going to be on here talking about a Lions victory.
No, not according to Art.
I don't pay attention
to
to
7 and 10 limo.
No, I mean, we'll talk about 5 if Terry's taking half of the season off.
No, I'll be here all season.
Okay. Well,
supposedly.
But Terry, look, and I brought this up a little bit earlier in the show. You and I have talked about it before. I'm a big rookie contract guy, which by default makes me a big draft guy, and that's how you build a team. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs right now have had their window because of Patrick Mahomes making $7 million a year, and he's the best player in the NFL. So
right. Let me ask you, how did you follow sports when the rookies got all the money and the veterans didn't?
Well, that was a cycle. I think that's why you saw continued quote-unquote dynasties in the NFL, and I think that's why you saw the same teams over and over and over again, because the number 1 overall pick in the previous system was a curse, not a gift, unless you had that dude. Unless
right.
you had that number 1 overall guy that was going to revolutionize a franchise. If you had the number 1 overall pick and you busted out on it, you paid twice. If you were the Browns and you took Tim Couch, not only did you have a bad quarterback, but you had a bad quarterback at a premium salary for so long.
True, but the
and you were
Lions even
hamstrung.
had good players at a premium salary. It didn't work out. They had Matt Stafford and Ndamukong Suh and Calvin Johnson choking up all of that cap room because they were drafted so high. That didn't work out either.
Yeah, because they followed that up with Boss Bailey and Jelani Tavai and Teddy Lehman, who couldn't be good in Detroit but was good for New England. That's why. Because that's the second layer to it, right? But that only put more pressure on those franchises. That's why the Browns were in the doldrums for so long. Again, you draft Tim Couch and you got to pay him $60 million and you can't get out of it. Now you're double screwed, right? Like that's just the way it is.
That sets you back at least 5 or 10 years.
Absolutely. But just taking a look around the NFL with what happened, I think some of the headlines, other than Tim Tebow, some of the headlines were what we saw from the young quarterbacks on display, Terry, because you saw guys like Trey Lance, and while the numbers weren't stunning, this is a chunk play league now, right? I mean, this is a big play league, and Trey Lance come out and he made a big play. He a long pass completion, big chunk play touchdown. 49ers got the long touchdown pass from Trey Lance. It's a playmakers league. We also saw it with Justin Fields, who was very impressive for the Chicago Bears, and the overall numbers with Fields were very impressive. Terry, this is a young man's league now, isn't it? I mean, this is, especially at the quarterback spot, I think what the Chiefs did was the blueprint for the future, where you're going to take a swing on quarterbacks, and you're only going to see more quarterbacks taken in the first round, because Justin Fields, as we see on the screen, he made some playmaker plays, got outside of the pocket, threw on the run, got the first down. Justin Fields looked damn good, Terry.
Well, here's the thing with Justin Fields. You know how we talk about we're going to take a close look for the next 10 years at Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green?
Right.
We're going to do the same thing with Penei Sewell and Justin Fields, because there's a lot of people like, okay, Jared Goff is not the right quarterback for this team, so take a flyer on Justin Fields. The Lions didn't do that. They've decided we're going to build inside out, and which I think is a smart move. But they saw the shiny piece and said no to it, because we're going to do this the quote-unquote right way. So we're always going to look at Justin Fields and like, hey, he could have been a Lion.
I know, but if you trust your guys in the room, right, your draft evaluators, which, we just got done talking about the fact that we've been scarred from previous drafts. But I'm not going to crucify Brad Holmes or the management, even if Justin Fields comes out to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. I mean, will I be upset? Sure, we'll all be upset. But at the same time, your guys in the room said, I think that Sewell has more of a chance to be great. Which I think that's still the case, don't you, Terry? Penei Sewell has an opportunity to be great.
Will. I think he will be great. But here's the thing. You're going to look at two guys, and whether you pick one, and if they had taken Justin Fields, guess what? Penei Sewell may have gone to the Bears and been a great left tackle. And then we thought, God, we could have had that guy, Justin Fields. But here's what we always do. At some point, this city turns on the starting quarterback. So if Justin Fields would have come here, no matter how well he would have played, this city would have turned on him at some point. Penei Sewell is only going to be turned on if he absolutely sucks, because he plays at a position that most people don't pay attention to, but they know what the quarterback is doing. So I think the Lions were in a no-win situation and a no-lose situation too, because they're going to pick a guy who's going to be great, but a certain segment of this fan base is always going to look at the other guy that you could have had.
And we do that, right? That's the nature of us as human beings. We're always immersed with what we don't have, when even what we do have is great.
Grass is always greener on the other side of the road.
That's why cliches are cliches, man, because they're true. But with all that being said, and look, I see the people in the comments on the social media right now, they're saying, Chad, but not that Chad, says Fields dominated guys who will be selling used cars in a month or delivering Amazon packages or whatever. And sure, to some degree, that's true. But you also have to remember, this is Justin Fields' first action in an NFL game. Where are these guys going to be Amazon drivers? Yeah, a lot of them are. But they're still borderline NFL guys. They're still the best of the best. They're still better than anything Justin Fields went against in college, Terry. And I think that's a mistake we all make, and people seem to do it more with basketball, where the last guy in the NBA would score 20 points a game in college easily in any league.
And probably has.
Exactly, and probably has. But I think people are quick to drop that assessment. I like the Trey Lance thing. Look, guys, I get it. There were a couple of chunk plays. The numbers were less than stellar for Trey Lance. But I'm enamored with chunk plays. I'm guilty of that. I'm enamored with it. And look what it does, dude. Look what it does to the sideline, the fans, all that stuff. Yes, you guys are right. Don't get me wrong. You guys are right. The numbers were ugly. There were moments of indecision. He looked uncomfortable at times. But you can do that in the end. Terry, we see that in the NFL all the time. Every NFL game for 3 quarters is that way.
You're supposed to be indecisive the first time you go out there.
Sure.
Doesn't matter who you are. Typically, if you look at a starting quarterback, and I'm talking about the good ones, typically their rookie year, more picks than touchdown passes. That's just the nature of the beast because the defense is more complex. They disguise things. You think the guy is open, and then when you go like this, all of a sudden he's not open, so you're confused. And so that's the nature of the beast. You have to learn. You are not a finished product as a rookie, no matter who you are. And guess who else is going to look like crap this year at some times? Trevor Lawrence. That's the guy we say there. That's the number one guy.
Number one guy.
No question he's going to make it. But guess what? There's going to be times you're like, who is this guy?
It's gonna happen to Penei Sewell as well.
Absolutely,
it did happen to Sewell in that first game.
He gave up a sack and people were freaking out.
Yeah, absolutely. But where I was impressed was the way that whole Lions offense on that first possession was wretched. But they circled the wagons and they had a 18 play drive. Now my problem is going back to that is we saw what we usually see, right? An 18 play drive that ends in a
field goal.
Field goal because it's a touchdown lead.
Kill you.
You get beat. My best friend, since I was 6 years old, one of my best friends in my life, has been saying this since the 90s, man, where field goals beat you. When you kick field goals, you lose.
And guess what? You're not going to have a 15 or 18 play drive running the football during the regular season.
You're not.
That's not going to happen. So to me, that's fool's gold.
Yep. If you kick 2 field goals, you're still losing to someone that scored a touchdown.
Right. Kick 3 field goals.
You got to kick 3 field goals to beat 1 touchdown.
Right.
My buddy's a big math guy, big accounting guy, and he goes, I don't understand why they kick so many field goals. Like the value of having the football.
Well, it's better than no points.
It depends. It depends on the scenario. It depends on the situation. But still, at the same time, Sewell is going to look bad. Everyone's going to look bad. Peyton Manning was 3-13 his first year. So I mean, that is going to be the rub with some of these quarterback guys. But what I saw from Justin Fields, I was very, very impressed. I know you guys aren't. As I look at
the
scared
comments.
Of him? Am I scared? I mean, it's too early to say I'm scared. The Lions have to game plan for Justin Fields that first game against the Bears. I'm not scared yet.
If he plays.
Yeah, if he plays.
That decision hasn't been made.
Right. Yeah, so it's too early to say, oh, I'm scared of Justin Fields. I'm going to go hide under the
Maybe
desk.
I asked the wrong question. Do you think Justin Fields is going to haunt the Lions for the next 15 years?
Well, I mean, hey, Mitch Trubisky did in the Bears uniform, did he not?
He did. Yeah. I'll give you that.
And speaking of Amazon drivers,
and he can't even play.
Yeah, that's where it is. So again, I'm wounded. Like a lot of you Lions fans are out there. I'm wounded. That was the football power hour. We come back. We have to recap the weekend for Miguel Cabrera. I have some thoughts on it. I did like what I see as far as the Tiger fans go. And we're going to discuss that a little bit more in depth when we come back. He's Terry Foster. My name is Neal Ruhl. It's Big D Energy right here on Woodward Sports Network.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back here on Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Terry Foss. It is Big D Energy. Just wrapped up the Monday Football Power Hour. That's a cool little thing we're going to do because football's front of mind, baby, all the way through till February. We're going to have tons of football to get to. But as I said when we opened the show, it was a huge sports weekend here in Detroit, and really something that we haven't seen in a very long time. And Miguel Cabrera, the chase for 500, there were 33,000 fans in the building on Saturday. Huge crowds all weekend down at Comerica. Certainly the Cade Cunningham and the Pistons in the Summer League, the Lions preseason game. Terry, this is the first time, I would say, since the Tigers runs in the mid 2014-15 era, this was the first time we had some juice downtown. I was downtown too, visiting with Oakland head coach Greg Campy, and there was juice downtown. You could feel it when you pulled in down there.
There was just, I was disappointed in the Friday crowd though. I went down.
I was
Friday,
a little bit too, low key,
and maybe that had to do with the Lions.
That's the Lions too.
But if the Tigers were rolling, and even if the Lions were playing, they would have got 35,000 at least, but it was more like 22,000 and change. I thought there would be more. I thought people would be more enthused to see Miguel Cabrera than the Lions. So that probably took away from. But I thought there was some juice Friday, but it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and that's fair because I'm kind of in lockstep with you on that. But again, man, it's football. That's why we spend an hour talking about it on Monday. I mean, it's undefeated, right? Unless they defeat themselves, as we brought up earlier. But we have a comment here on the YouTube stream from Tanny Chin that says, I feel bad for Cabrera. There's so much pressure on him. And that was the feeling I got, Terry, from watching these games. And look, Miguel Cabrera's arguably the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. One of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. I don't think he feels quote-unquote pressure, but you could see him squeezing a little bit. I mean, just the fans and everyone on their feet and the energy in the building and all that stuff. Miggy finished the weekend with one hit. I think there was a little extra pressure on him. I think it will take a minute to adjust to that, to every at-bat.
I think the pressure is on the fans because if I paid $50, I want to see Miggy hit that home run tonight. I don't care if he does it Tuesday, Wednesday, but the night I go, I want him to hit that home run. I don't think Miguel Cabrera feels the pressure like the fans do. I think he just goes out there, and maybe he's doing things he normally wouldn't do. Maybe he's trying to hit home runs rather than just trying to hit the ball solidly. So I will give you that, but I don't think he feels that pressure. I think it's more on the people.
And I never really thought about it that way. In that, when you look at the fans and the expectation when they walk in the door, they want that moment, right? They want that for their Instagram, they want that for their Twitter and their Facebook. And that is a great point that I didn't really think about. That pressure is turned up by them.
If he doesn't hit it Friday, he's got Saturday, he's got Sunday. If he doesn't hit it those days, he's got Tuesday, he's got Wednesday. If he doesn't hit it then, guess what? He's got like 2 months to hit that home run.
Yeah, and it's going to happen at some point. And I think we all forgot where everybody jumped on board on Friday when we did the show, and D-Mac called for him. He said he's going to get it Friday night. I think we forget he's only hit 4 home runs at Comerica Park this year. It's not like he's the chunk of his home runs.
Was it 13, 14 games?
Right.
So we shouldn't expect it until next week, maybe.
Right. And the one thing, though, that I did like, because I do want him to do it and kind of get it out of the way, just because at the beginning of this year, and I talked about this in earlier shows that we did, I saw the fans, I don't want to say turn on Miguel Cabrera.
They turned on him.
But turn on Miguel Cabrera. the one dude I think that has a free pass for the rest of his time here with Detroit.
You know why he doesn't? The contract.
I know.
People look at that money and say,
But the contract wasn't a Miguel Cabrera thing. The contract was a market thing. Albert Pujols set that market. And look, I've talked about this. As a guy who's from this area, my parents worked in the car factories. I was a dishwasher. I delivered the Detroit News for a long. I mean, I get the work aspect of this town. Don't get me wrong. I understand that completely. I've lived it. My family lived it. This is different though, because this has to do with markets. And when Albert Pujols signed that ridiculous contract with the Angels, that is what became the bar. And you knew it was going to be at least that to get Miguel Cabrera. And we've seen that with Giancarlo Stanton. And we've seen that now with Bryce Harper. And we've seen that with Fernando Tatis. And it's going to continue to go. It's only going to go up, Terry. It never goes down until the revenue goes down.
Do you want to get into a fist fight?
No, I don't. I've seen enough
Here's
of that.
how you can get into a fist fight. Tell an old timer, I'm talking about some dude in his 70s or 80s, that Miguel Cabrera is better than Al Kaline. They want to. They'll
put up their
up on
dukes,
you.
yeah, the 40 style box, yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Come on, Neal.
Yeah.
Young whippersnapper.
That'd be a great poster right there, Terry.
Yes.
Yeah, black and white poster right there. No, but it's one of those things where that's the market, and I understand that the fans. This is astronomical money that we can never ever relate to. But that wasn't like Miguel Cabrera held the organization hostage and said, "I'm out of here if you don't give me this deal." The Tigers went. That deal was the Tigers locking him up long time for this day. For this day that we're at right now. So to make sure that when he hits his 500th home run, his 3,000th hit, when he goes into the Hall of Fame, all that's done as a Tiger. That was the investment.
Right.
I'm convinced of that.
And the Tigers knew that at the back end of that contract, they weren't going to get their money's worth.
Yep.
But they had to sign him so they could have him for 2006, 2012, 2013, and 2014. This moment here. So you've got to sacrifice, or you risk losing him.
Yeah, and I would argue, I'd flip that on its side, because I've always said this forever. Guys like Messi and LeBron and Tom Brady, and in the mid 2000s, 2010, 2012, when Miggy was winning Triple Crowns, those guys are underpaid versus the rest of the league. The skill set that they have is so high above everybody else. And what they do in terms of jersey sales and ticket sales, and Terry, this is a big one no one talks about, television rights, because people want to see these great athletes play. The money they generate, they out-generate what they're paid, which I know is blasphemous to say when you have a guy like Cabrera that's making $32 million. I know that's blasphemous, but it doesn't make it not true. And these guys are actually underpaid. And I would argue, Terry, when he was winning Triple Crowns, he wasn't making enough money, even though he was on the same contract.
Right. But today
it's going to be ugly.
He's not fulfilling that contract.
Yeah, and yes, he is better than Al Kaline. He is better than Al Kaline, folks.
I'm going to get into a fist fight, I'm telling you.
You know what? Not that, because I'll always walk away, because I'll never go down to that
you're classy.
level. No, it's not even that.
And you know what? The old timer can't catch you.
Well,
because you chase your ass down the street.
Well, there's that, Terry. And I'm a guy that prides myself on the mental victory. And a guy who wants to fight really bad hates nothing more than to not be able to fight.
Right.
So I win that mental battle.
Well, the way society works, when you're young, you got to fight to impress your woman. And then when you get older, you don't fight to impress your woman. Because then she says, oh, you know what? He's smarter now.
Right.
He doesn't fly off the handle now. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Just make me laugh and pay for my dinner. We're good.
and we'll move on. But it was good to see the love affair with Miguel. It was, because everyone had the signs, everyone had the phones out. They wanted that piece of history. And as you said earlier in this season, Terry, the fans had turned on Miguel Cabrera. They had. But now it seems as though they've turned back, that now this moment's coming. And I'm happy for that, because that's what Miguel Cabrera deserves, because he is unequivocally the greatest Tiger of all time to me. And I know that D-Mac's not wrong when he says this, the no championship thing is going to hurt him. I think he's one of the greatest athletes in Detroit sports history. Yes, he didn't win a title, but Barry didn't win a title. And Barry Sanders is the greatest athlete in Detroit sports history. To me, those are my rankings.
Okay. I think the other thing is the lack of English, or the improving English is the way I would describe it.
That's fair.
Because I think a lot of sports writers, or people who get the clips, aren't patient enough for Miggy to explain himself, because he does speak English, and you can get a story out of him, but you got to work a little bit harder to do that.
And it depends on the content of the story.
Right.
I've had writers tell me that, it all depends on what you're writing.
That's with anybody.
Look, that's us. I'm the same way. I mean, Terry, if you're back in your newspaper days and some story comes out about me, about something I didn't do, and you're like, television voice of Golden Grizzlies, Detroit City FC, did X, Y, and Z. When you call me to talk about it, Terry,
I'm getting that voicemail.
Yeah, you got that voicemail a million times in your career. I mean, that's just the nature of people.
But the other thing is, some guys will talk no matter what. Like, for instance, after a Tiger game, everybody would go to Brandon Inge back in the day. Everybody would go to Torrey Hunter because they're yappers. They're going to talk about anything, anywhere, anytime. Miguel Cabrera, he could get 2 hits and it's like, I don't feel like dealing with him today.
Yeah, and that's but Miguel Cabrera is one of those dudes that has the juice to get away with it. If Brandon Inge does that, it hits a little different than if Miguel Cabrera does it because it's different for
Brandon
different people.
Inge was a go-to guy.
Yeah, when you needed something.
A lot of times you're under deadline pressure. I need a quote.
Now.
So you go to the manager, you go to Brandon Inge, you go to Avila, Alex Avila, because he was right there. He would talk after every game and give you a load of quotes. So you do a lot of times what's easiest, not what's best, or what's quickest, and not what's best sometimes.
Because that's what's available, and you got to get the story done, man, because there's a deadline to it.
Well, I mean, and Joik talked about this the other day, how sometimes they would rush in, listen to the coach, get in the shower as quickly as they could, and be gone after losses. I mean, when you go into a Lions locker room after a loss, you're looking around and say, okay, I will talk to anybody.
Anyone who's here.
Are you the ball boy? Here, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why Jason Hansen was quoted a lot about plays he wasn't even involved in.
Because he was there.
We're
going to be talking a lot coming up on Friday, August 20th. That's right, this Friday for Levels grand opening. The Levels provisioning grand opening and car giveaway. We'll be out there, Woodward Sports Network, with a live broadcast all day at opening event. With us, Woodward Sports, that's at Levels in Centerline, 23968 Sherwood Avenue. That's in Centerline. Again, that's Friday, August 20th. We'll be there promoting the grand opening and new delivery service of Levels. You can go to enjoylevels.com for more information. There's going to be food trucks out there, tons of giveaways, and your chance to win a new Challenger. You're going to have to beat Joik for it. He wants it bad. The Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy. Us will be there as well in the bottom line. We'll all be out there broadcasting live. T Grizzly Gas is powered by Levels. I'll be out there with T Grizzly. Art, I can't wait to be out there with T Grizzly because people have been praying on my downfall too. We'll be out there. We'll be right back with more Big D Energy right here, Woodward Sports Network.
Do you know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 5-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Welcome back. Woodward Sports, Big D Energy. D-Mac and Joik Bell out today. So I climbed up a couple notches, got in my guy, T. Foss, Terry Foster,
no,
Detroit
you had to
sports media icon. My name is Neal Ruhl. Happy to have you with us. Art, he's in the producer's booth. Fish is in the Fish Bowl as well. Fish is all fired up, man. English Premier League is back. You're happy, aren't you, Fish? Really fired up about it, man. I was happy Arsenal lost.
I'm really Yes, I am. Well, you didn't even watch.
Fish, how can you be excited? The Olympics are done.
I know. So you move on to another sport.
Okay.
Yeah, Fish, man. Fish is a big Euro sports guy.
Okay.
I am too, though, just because of the time. But no, I didn't watch it. But Arsenal, for the 12 people that are watching right now, the We Are Soccer crew. And by the way, make sure you check out We Are Soccer here on Saturdays on Woodward Sports. That show is popping off right now. So make sure that you enjoy that show if you are one of the soccer people. Some of you aren't. That's cool.
I'm very disappointed you didn't watch. I know you don't like Arsenal, but it's still
I'm about entertainment, Fish. I want to be entertained. We talked about this.
Yeah, but there's something called two teams.
No.
The other team can be entertaining.
Well, they're not entertaining. So I'm not supporting it, Fish. I'm not doing it. Something else through the years that's given me a lot of entertainment, Terry?
What?
And I don't know if you have this as well. The game show Jeopardy. has given me a lot of entertainment. Were you a Jeopardy guy? Did you ever watch it at all?
I watched a whole bunch of game shows. Jeopardy was one of them.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm of the opinion, I think Jeopardy is one of the GOATs. I mean, Wheel of Fortune certainly is one that everybody relates to. But Jeopardy announced their new host for the shows. People are giving them grief about it. The girl that was in Blossom. I do remember the show Blossom. Was it Maya Bialk? Is that her name? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, she's like a physicist or something. She's really
very
smart.
intelligent, very intelligent. And the executive producer from the show that no one knows, all of a sudden he's going to be the host too. But I forgot what the dude's name is. I had it written down. And I forgot what the dude's name is. But that just goes to show you, though. I think a lot of people are of that ilk right now.
I actually thought he did the best job, but people want a name.
They do. They do want a name, and that's why they're going to bring Blossom in, and that's fine. Terry, this isn't going to work, right? I mean, and look, you never want to be the guy that replaces the guy in anything.
That's true.
Right? You want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaces the guy. And Alex Trebek, whoever comes onto that studio, is not going to live up to Alex Trebek. That's a factual statement.
Yeah, but the good thing is if you do the executive producer, it'll be someone at a lower salary. And if you get rid of them, it's not going to be a bunch of bad publicity. For instance, like if you had a big name person, that big name person is going to be all pissed off. They're going to piss on your show for the next 2 years. This guy just ride off into the sunset. We'll barely know he was there. We will barely know that he left, and then they'll bring in the guy to replace the guy.
Yeah, and our fans here of Big D Energy on the YouTube thread are doing exactly what they do. Ryan's reaction says Luka Garza would be the greatest Jeopardy host ever. Luka Garza is the correct answer to every Jeopardy question ever. Luka Garza would have gone for it instead of kicking that field goal, by the way. But we'll tell.
Now, Luka Garza would have scored the touchdown.
Absolutely. We'll touch on Luka Garza in just a couple minutes, though. What you got, Fish?
So they did 8 months of guest host, right, where they went through the people.
Yeah, Joe Buck.
What's the point of going through all those people if they didn't choose them? Wasn't that the whole point? They went through all the people. Ken Jennings, Joe Buck, Aaron, who did Aaron Rodgers' terrible job. Why did they?
Maybe they weren't enamored with any of them. I mean, maybe that was it. Maybe they're like, you know what? Nobody here is really all that good.
Or maybe they thought it was a good publicity stunt. Let's bring in all these names.
Mike Richards, that's everyone's telling you. Mike
right.
Richards, yeah.
It was a good publicity stunt. Our show has faded. We'll get a little juice, and then we'll pick who we want.
Yeah, Jeopardy was one of those things. If my wife and I were home, and I've always, being in the sports industry, Terry, you don't get a lot of nights at home. That's because most games are at night. So we never have ever, in the history of our marriage, have had a lot of that where we're both kind of sitting there watching TV. But the couple times we did, if Jeopardy was on, that was one of those things where I'm always going to watch. And being in this business, just to let you guys behind the curtain a little bit, we have a lot of things going on. Art's always locking it down back in the producer's booth. Fish is over there as well in the fish bowl. There's a lot of things going on. Art's a busy dude. Everybody kind of behind the scenes here. When stuff goes on, they communicate with me while I'm talking. I can be talking and somebody is talking to me in my ear. That's how television works, Terry. You know this as well. You've done your fair share of television. Certainly doing sports. Thank you, Art. I tried to do my hair extra nice and everything like that. But with all that being said, in this business, because of all the stuff that we have going on, you grow that ability to where I can listen to Alex Trebek reading the question, but I can go down to the middle of the screen and read the rest of the question while Alex Trebek is reading it and comprehend both things at once. And my wife always said I was a cheater because I would be able to get the answer when Alex is a one sentence into a 3-sentence question. So I'd be able to spit out the answer. If it was something I knew, right? Like it wasn't, all those stupid hodgepodge categories and all that stuff, I didn't know what was going on. Or, if it was something about sewing or something like that. But, they would always have a sports category or something, or movies or stuff like that, or actors.
You know what? For Final Jeopardy, I would never bet any money because I never know the answer to that question.
You and me both. And me both on that.
I could have $3 million. How much you going to bet, Mr. Foster?
$0 because I don't want to lose any money.
Because I'm keeping my money.
But my wife, Terry, would always accuse me of cheating. She said that I was a cheater because I would read ahead. Terry,
Honey Bun,
and
wrong.
I'll ask you guys on the YouTube and social media, am I a cheater? Is she right? Am I cheating at Jeopardy by listening but being able to read ahead?
Absolutely not. Honey Bun is off base on this one. The answer is right there for everyone to read. If they didn't want you to have the capability of reading it, they wouldn't put it up there. So
that's fair game. That's in the field of play.
You're playing a game. Do they take shortcuts in baseball? Yes. Do they take shortcuts in football and hockey? Yes. So if you want to call it a shortcut, God bless you, do it. Because that's giving you a competitive edge, which when we do anything athletically or intellectually, we try to get some shortcuts or some edges on our opponent.
Right, and that's something, and look, this might be something where in my house, my reputation is disparaged a little bit because when we do the family board games, if we're playing Life or we're playing Monopoly or stuff like that, if my son drops a card and it flips over and I look down at it and I see it, I see it, so I know I'm going to react accordingly. That's
his fault. He
right.
made the mistake. That's a mistake. That's the turnover. You're taking advantage of the turnover.
And he needs to understand that in life, you're going to be held accountable for your mistake. You're going to suffer from mistakes. And I don't seek it. I'm not going to, do one of these where I'm like trying to look into his hand to see what cards he has. Uno's another thing. If he drops a card on the table, I know what he has. So when he says Uno and I see he hasn't played that card, I know it's a yellow 1, Terry. And if I have a wild card in my hand that's not a draw 4, I'm dropping it and changing it from yellow because I'm not going to let him win. I'm doing it.
Now, are you a cheater in board games?
No, I use the information that's become public.
Okay, all right. And
I
would do the same thing
to my advantage. Do you consider that
they messed
cheating?
up? Did you flip over the card? No, he did. So that's his bad.
Right. So I'm not.
Now,
a
your son's
cheater.
not like 5 years old because that's taking advantage of the situation.
6.
Oh boy. Now, as a dad, only because he's your son, you should probably not peek at that card.
But Terry, it came across my line of like if a card falls, it's in your DNA, it's in your human nature. You're going to look down.
I know,
at
but he's 5 years old.
I get it. Now,
are you proud of kicking your 6-year-old's son's ass?
Am I proud? No. I will say when they were 5 or 6, I would take if I had the wild card, then I wouldn't play it. Okay, let's say I wouldn't change the color on him. I wouldn't do that because I want him to experience winning. I do. But when he's 10, 11, that narrative changes, man, because now you feel good. Now you enjoy the game. He enjoys the game now.
And you become cutthroat dad.
I don't want cutthroat's a bad way to put it, Terry.
You trying to bury him.
It's a bad way to put it. Terry, it's a bad way to put it, man.
Right,
I don't like that.
Are you?
No. If I were cutthroat, I would do that. And look at his card. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just taking advantage of available information. Terry, as we talked about, football's back, and there was a very, very ugly scene in Los Angeles at the Rams game. And we're seeing this more and more, and I really don't like it. I have a lot of disdain for it, and we'll talk about it when we come back. Neal Ruhl, Terry Foster, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Welcome back, Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, Terry Foster with you. And Terry, I'm looking at the YouTube thread right now, and see your word choice is disparaged me. It has. People are saying I'm cutthroat. I play to win. Why am I always fighting?
Yeah, why do you always fight?
I'm not fighting.
I know you're not a fighter.
No, I'm not a fighter. But you know who is a fighter, Terry? fans at games these days, and I'll never understand this. And I talked about this earlier. I'm a dude that's always going to walk away because the guy that wants to fight is he's not going to be satisfied unless he fights. So I'm going to win that mental battle by not fighting.
Let me ask you this question: do you get drunk at games?
Do I get drunk? I mean, drunk?
Drunk like, hey, I'm Neal Ruhl. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah. No. We don't go. Do I have a drink or two at a game? Sure, I do.
Okay.
I mean, absolutely. That's baseball.
Now,
man.
most of these people who are fighting are drunk.
Drunk. They are. But there was a very, very ugly scene in Los Angeles with what happened at the Rams game, and these were Rams fans that were going at it. And it was very ugly. And Terry, it made me feel sick to my stomach. And we're playing it right now on the big video board. And you see this building up, Terry. And we've seen this time and time again. And look, you have the big war words right now, and everybody's watching. And this just escalates into something, Terry, that I'm not. And I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say, if you're not comfortable with it, then why are you talking about it? Because I think we need to have this discussion, and here you see it. And
but
they're going.
You know what's happening, in before the fists start, both these guys, or all these guys are basically, man, they're kicking this dude's ass.
Yeah.
I'm a man, damn it.
You're not going to disrespect me.
Right, you're not going to disrespect me. I'm not going to back down from you. And so that's what happens in these situations. And I guarantee you, all of these dudes are drunk.
Right. What do you got, Fish?
Not feeling good, they're drunk.
Okay, yes, the fans have gone insane, but I think the media has gone insane by showing the fans. This has definitely happened before before COVID, but because obviously fans were gone, now they're back. So now we're talking about it. This happened before.
Fish,
the
come
same
on,
thing.
dude. That's a newsworthy event right there.
Yeah, but all these things happened 2019, 18, 17, but we just skip past it. It's like, oh, it's a fight at a game. Boop, next.
Yeah, but I think just and look, people on YouTube, no one in this video knows how to punch. That comes from Ryan Reaction. Joey 2 times is calling me a cheater too. He says I could only beat. He said I can only beat Contra with the cheat codes, which is not true.
I feel bad now. I've ruined your reputation in this community.
Thanks, Terry.
You've gone the last 30, 40 years trying to build it up, and I just ruined it.
Yeah, but absolutely. And again, here's another look. And Terry, this is part of the culprits too of what's going on. This thing was it looked like it was trending away, like it wasn't going to happen, and then you saw this lady from a few rows back. This is what you see her throw the beer cup. And as we saw that's where it snapped. Much like a la Ron Artest. The cup of beer is where everything came apart.
You know what this lady is saying? And that's, all you guys are bitches. And I want to be entertained. I want to see somebody get their ass beat. So I'm going to throw this beer or this pop at you guys and spark this thing.
But do we have a problem? I mean, yes, I am going to answer this question. Yes, we have a problem, Terry.
Of course.
These guys are Rams fans. Like, be excited. You got Matt Stafford. You got your quote-unquote last piece. If he can win a game in the playoffs for you, because he didn't do that here.
Here's the guy in the white. I'm a man. Don't mess with me. See, there's the beer. Now I got to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah, and I don't get that, but I do. And you're 1,000% spot on. And again, going back to it, we're as polarized as a society as we ever are. Everything's left, right, black, white, up, down. There's no middle ground. Like, none of these guys are saying, hey.
Right. Now everybody's throwing stuff at them.
Yeah. And then everybody wants to be a part of it for some reason. And what I didn't understand about the lady throwing the drink that we saw a few minutes ago, I mean, look, you got guys going all over the place. Somebody's going to see you. When you act the fool today, and Fish, I'll back it up to say that's where it's good that all of these come out on the social media, because that's maybe it's me, or you, Terry, you work in the public light, where you have to think of. That's my first thought, right there. Is how is this going to look on me? How is this going to look on my employer? I have to get out of this situation and leave it alone. Certainly not do anything to provoke it.
Right.
But why are we like this, man? Why?
I always say, I hate to do this, but I blame everything on COVID. Everything is on COVID.
Yeah.
We've been locked up in our houses, afraid to go out. And now I think people are like, okay, I'm going to do what I feel like doing. And I've been bored, so I want to see some action. These guys are talking shit, but they're not fighting. I want to see a fight tonight. Homegirl wanted to see a fight.
People, Terry, I don't want to believe that, man. I don't want to believe that
Neal,
people are that evil, dude.
Okay, here we go.
But they are.
I'm going to tell you something right now. People are stupid.
Yes.
Learn that.
Think of how stupid the average person is. And remember, half of them are more stupid than that.
Right. So, I just feel like seeing people fight tonight.
I can't. God, I'm wondering how we got there. And I know it's the alcohol. That's what everybody blames, right? That's what the organizations blame. That's what the people blame. They always say it's the alcohol. But I always talk about how we're never going backwards in TV rights deals and stuff like that. We're never going backwards in alcohol sales.
No, absolutely
never,
not.
Never, because that is the highest margin, most profitable thing that's sold. We're not taking that away, Terry.
Yeah, I don't see how these people can afford the beers anyway.
Right.
I mean,
that's another reason. Like, you ever get drunk at a game? No, man. I'm
I
at
can't
the
afford
mid-level
to get
exception.
drunk. Yeah, those beers are $12.50.
Yeah, and look, I know that in this tailgate society, that most of the heavy lifting as far as the drinking goes is done in the parking lot. We've seen it. You go into stadiums, you see it walking through the parking lot. I've seen it out there tailgating before. And I'm not going to sit out here on my high horse and say I've never been at a tailgate and had some drinks and stuff like that, because I've done that. Everyone watching this, I'm willing to bet, has done that to a certain degree.
Right. Here's something stadiums will never do. If you walk into a stadium staggered, they let you in.
They do.
I know he's drunk, but our customer, we want that money. If you walk into a bar and you're staggering, they won't let you in. A lot of places won't let you in because, hey, you already lit up. I don't want you to drive home drunk and kill yourself. Stadiums don't seem to care.
No, I mean, and that is the reality, right? Because if you're staggered a little bit, chances are you're going to buy more drinks when you get in there. You're going to. Tyler Haney says on the YouTube thread, says everyone wants a little drama in their life. And Tyler's right. Unfortunately, when you say, hey, she wanted to see a fight, she wanted to see something happen, she wanted drama in her life. She wanted to see drama. Tyler's 1,000,000% right.
And how come these guys are talking, but they're not doing anything? Boop. I'll fix that.
They also say that Luka Garza would have caught the drink and threw it back at the lady.
He would have caught it and drank it. It depends on what it was.
And then ran down the floor and got a bucket.
Yes.
No, he would. We're going to talk about Luka Garza coming up in just a couple of minutes. But, Terry, I've seen enough, man. I've seen enough of this. I've seen enough of the way we act towards each other. And, again, I can almost get with you if it's a Rams-Raiders game or a Rams-Chargers game and, it's 28-3. And somebody's been chirping the whole time because they associate their identity with their sports team and they're winning and they're going to let you know.
Were these the Rams and the Chargers playing?
No. This was Rams fans fighting each other.
Okay, all right.
Rams fans fighting each other. Like, again, they should be happy, man. They got Stafford in town. They're a factor. They're a Super Bowl contender. That's what I've been told. Yes, Fish.
The game was Rams-Seahawks. But, yes, there were two Rams fans fighting. But they were playing the Seahawks.
They shouldn't even be mad at the Seahawks fans. This is just ridiculous. But, but
I can make the case for it. If it was Rams-Chargers and you've been drinking and they've been chirping and it's 28-3, I could almost make the case for that, almost.
All right. I did. There used to be lots of fights at the Silverdome.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason was alcohol, but also it was the rows were too long. And so what that meant is if you had to leave and then come back, people had to stand up for too long, and then they would get pissed off, and maybe you stepped on somebody's shoe and they just bought their new Nikes, they hit you.
Yeah.
The other reason fights were started in the Silverdome is they used to give each fan a little program in the bleachers. And instead of reading the program and looking at the rosters, people would get bored and make paper airplanes out of them and then throw them at people.
That was the entertainment a lot of times.
Right, and then
if
the people
someone
would
made
turn
it onto
around
the field,
and say, "Did you hit me with that?" No, it wasn't me, dog. It was this guy over here, and then the fights would start.
Yeah, and I mean, and we saw that. We saw that at the Silverdome a lot. I mean, that was the world's largest octagon. I mean, that was the Silverdome, man. Those fights at the Silverdome, there were blood on the wall sometimes. I saw it.
There was, and the best thing about the fights in the Silverdome is when people would fight, two fat guys would fall down the aisle in slow motion. I don't know how that happened, but they would just go, "Oh, I'm going down the stairs and I can't stop myself." That's what I loved about the fights at the Silverdome.
Yeah, I just
and nobody could fight really.
No, and we even saw that there. I mean, that wasn't,
it's 3 against 1.
Yeah, it was 3 against 1.
Are you proud of
all
yourself?
it was. Yeah, and so I don't know, man. I've seen enough of it, man. I'll tell you what, a guy the fans have not seen enough of. We're gonna talk about hey guys on the YouTube stream. Your moment is here. I expect you all to jump in and get your opinions out there. The legend of Luka Garza continues to grow. We'll discuss when we come back. This is Big D Energy on Woodward Sports Network. Welcome back to Big D Energy right here, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. We got Art in his booth, Fish in the fishbowl as well. Terry Foster in the house as well. But Terry, I wanted to address this phenomenon with you. And look, I've been joking about it, but our Big D Energy fans are adamant about their love for Luka Garza. And on draft night, social media exploded, and people were fired up. And, the Pistons drafted the people's champion, Terry. Luka Garza has become the people's champion, one of the most popular dudes in Detroit. And Terry, we've seen this throughout our lives. We've seen this come and go. Chris Shelton, Donnie Kelly with the Tigers, Brandon Idge to a degree as well. The backup quarterback's always been that. The backup goalie for the Red Wings has always been that as well. The people's champion. This Luka Garza, he's a phenomenon, Terry.
He is. Second-round pick. Second-round picks mostly don't make teams. He committed himself to Detroit by losing 25 pounds. He lost 30, but he gained 5 back because it made him feel better. So the net of a 25-pound loss. And he's balling. So you put all those things together, he's the people's champion. And it looks like he's going to at least be in the rotation when they play.
That might be a little aggressive. I mean, we'll see. They are a bit short in the middle. Certainly they are, with Mason Plumlee's departure. He did have 20 points, 14 boards, and 3 assists against the Lakers in the Summer League. So a big-time effort out of him. The thing that I'm always going to be concerned about, Terry, which is what the scouts were concerned about, which is why he was a second-round pick, what do you do with him defensively? And basketball people whose opinion I trust, who forgot more about basketball today than I'll ever know, said, hey, if you're a good coach, a good coaching staff, you can find ways to hide dudes on defense, which, to a degree there is.
You couldn't play zone defense back in the day, but now you can.
Now you can.
Everybody, I got news for you. Everybody in the NBA does not play defense. At least he'll try. He'll get beaten up and abused, but he'll at least try. Some dudes are like, okay, I'm not even going to play defense. Forget about it.
Yeah, and that's where, for him, he's going to have to defend at some level. And I'm wondering about the scenario I go through in my mind, and Luka Garza will figure it out, and the Pistons will figure out how to deal with it. When you're playing the Brooklyn Nets and James Harden calls for a ball screen and the switch is made and Luka's one-on-one v. James Harden, ...
But who's going to stop him anyway? What big guy is going to stop him anyway.
Sure, I know that, but at the same time,
you just have to hope he misses.
Yeah, right, and that's where it is. And I just want people to look. I know that we're having fun and everybody's excited about it. I am too, man. I am. I mean, if he plays out, if he becomes a rotational piece, that's an absolute steal. Because Terry, how many rotational pieces do you see in the second round of the NBA draft?
About 2 or 3 a draft out of
30.
30, yeah.
So you have like a 3% hit rate on those.
I think that would be 5 to 10%.
Yeah, but a single-digit hit rate percent.
Right.
On getting a not a star, not a starter, not a big contributor. I'm talking about a rotational guy, an 8 or a 9.
Ninth man,
yeah,
right.
8 or a 9 guy.
He could be that
on a roster. But my question to you, Terry, as a guy who's been around the city for a long time, does this happen in other cities? Do sports fan bases, do they latch on to guys like we have with Donnie Kelly, we have with Chris Shelton, now Luka Garza, whoever the backup wings goalie is? Does this happen in other cities?
Of course it does. It happens everywhere because every city roots for the underdog. We like that guy that's more like us. Luka Garza is not like us, but he's more like us than Cade Cunningham. He doesn't make as much money. There was a good shot. He wouldn't even be in the NBA if he didn't lose the weight, if he didn't improve his game. So you latch on to a guy like that. But it happens in other cities.
And the fans are calling for it. Emerald Eyes on YouTube says Garza with a 30-point triple-double tonight. Book it. You can take it to the bank. So, So if you got your MyBookie app opened up, get in there and get those exotics and hit Matt Garza up for 30-plus points. I'm sure you can get a really good price on that.
I bet you can get paid big time.
You can get paid definitely through MyBookie. But, it's something I think, and Terry, there's something to that, right? And I talked about the fact, I know because I've seen it with my parents working in the car factories and stuff like that. We see some of us in guys like Matt Garza, in guys like Brandon Inge that show up all the time, that do every little thing that they can do to try to be successful because maybe they weren't blessed with the most talent or anything like that. But
they're too short.
They're too. There's a knock on them, right? And that's Detroit. Like there's always a knock on us here in Detroit.
What's the T-shirt? Detroit versus everybody.
Yeah, there's always a knock, and we always seem to gravitate towards these guys. That's why I was curious. I mean, do you see this in L.A.? Do you see this in Miami or Chicago? Some of these, maybe more so in Chicago, but some of the glamour towns. I don't know that you see the love affair that we have here.
Well, in Miami, they loved, what's the guy? He was a backup center. He wasn't a backup. He was a star, Udonis Haslem.
Yeah.
Not a great center, but people in Miami loved him. In L.A., it's probably harder to get that love because there's so many stars out there in movies and sports and everything. You don't have time to even know who the back. Oh, but you know what? No, in L.A. they just had who's the little short white guy that was traded
to Caruso?
Yeah, Caruso. They loved him out there.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, Joey Two Times says Luka Garza fears no man. He's a threat from anywhere on the court. Mike G says I'll be happy if Garza defends and rebounds. Take care of that in first, young buck. And then Joey Two Times is back at it. Garza's the 2021 NBA version of Tom Brady. So
there we go.
No, but it's just, to me, it seems like we do that here, and maybe it's not done in a lot of places. But he's definitely the people's champion. I mean, there is no question about it. What do you think? Does he have to be a contributor for this to continue, Terry?
Oh, absolutely. Because if he's sitting the bench, what will probably happen is you're going to have people screaming, Luka, Luka. They'll want him to play.
He'll be the human victory cigar.
Right. And then if he doesn't play, people will get pissed and, what's wrong with our coach? They're not playing this guy. And then he'll be forgotten.
Right.
If he doesn't play. So he's got to play and contribute.
Sure. And, he'll have another opportunity. As far as the Pistons go, they'll be playing the Orlando Magic at 8 o'clock. That's an ESPN2 game. So, that's tonight. Pistons, Terry, they're center stage, man, in the summer league. ESPN, it's all about the Pistons, all about putting them in the primetime spots, and all about putting them on national television.
I know, and that's a change. When I covered summer league, they always play at 3 in the afternoon. So, and it was in
the auxiliary
gym in Orlando. And I'm like, they're playing games in here? I thought the high school kids were coming in. No, it was the NBA. And it was all jammed at scouts, media, and everything. And you were in there like this. Man, I can't even move.
But there's been a renaissance with the fans on this Pistons team. I mean, and going back to what I said earlier, Troy Weaver's a dude that totally flipped this roster, did a 180 with this roster, the makeup, the athleticism, the build of everyone in one season, in a 12-month stretch, totally flipped. Sekou's the longest tenured Piston right now.
Right.
And, as you look at it, I think when he freshened up this roster, he freshened up the fans, because the fans are all, I mean, look at this, Terry, the social media, all of it that's going on, the primetime spots with the Summer League. The identity of this Pistons franchise has done a 180.
Yeah, because my thinking was when he took over, I'm like, Stan Van Gundy has thrown this roster into the wrong street, and this is going to take a long while to even make this roster look recognizable. He did in 1 year, and then he was rewarded with the #1 pick, and he may have hit on Luka Garza. We don't know, but he's hit on second-round picks before, so I have total faith in this guy.
And just for entertainment purposes only, folks, the Pistons, a 1.5 point favorite today. 1.5 point favorite, over under a 173. I'm sure Luka Garza will, he'll have 90 of those 173.
Yeah, what's
by
the
himself.
over-under on points for Luka?
Yeah, we'll
25? Oh, I got a question for you people out there. Luka Garza or Luka Doncic? Got to think about it.
Yeah. That is something I think for people they would have to sit down.
Okay, Neal, that's what we call a joke.
Yeah, no, they would sit down and think about it.
They would.
What about Luka James?
Okay, what all Lukas do we know?
What about Coast, Terry? Since 1919, Coast has pursued one mission to make the working professional's job safer and easier. Today, Coast lights are a favorite amongst tradesmen and women, outdoor enthusiasts, DIYers, first responders, and more. Visit coastportland.com. Use the code WSN20. You'll get 20% off your first purchase. They stand by their products. They back them up with a lifetime warranty. Buying for your whole crew? Sign on with the Coast Crew and take advantage of special discounts. You get early access to new products and more. 20% off. The code's WSN20. I can't click the button for you guys, all right? Go to coastportland.com. Get 20% off your order with the code WSN20.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. Happy to have you with us. Terry Foster in for DMAC and Joik Bell. And again, just kind of happy to have you along for the ride. Appreciate all your guys' interactions. You guys are cracking us up right now on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook Live, this is the last week for the Facebook Live. I encourage you to switch over to the YouTube channel. Download the app, too. Go in your App Store, go in your Google Play Store, and download that app. And get ready to rock, man, because we're doing it big here on Big D Energy. But T-Foss, some news in the golf world. And there's a lot of local flavor to it because, if you look at what happened in the U.S. Amateur, which is a big time tournament, we've seen some big time names win the U.S. Amateur. Of course, Tiger and Jack Nicklaus and Phil Mickelson and all of them. I mean, pretty much the who's who of golf. But legally, we saw it happen here. James Piot was victorious in the U.S. Amateur. Now he plays his college golf for Michigan State. He's the first ever Michigan native to win the U.S. Amateur, which is certainly a very, very big deal. And, Terry, it's a big deal on a lot of fronts. But, to quote Jeezy, he put on for a city, Terry.
He did. And we may be seeing the opening act of a very good golfer because if you win the U.S. Open, there's a shot. Well, he qualifies for, I believe, the British Open, the U.S. Open, and
the
stuff.
Masters.
So we may not see it right away, but this could be the beginning of something great. It's always good to see the ground floor of something, And maybe that's what we're doing now. But you know, the best thing about this, you see his golf shirt?
Yes.
Gruff Sparty. Swinging a golf club.
Yep. So, and it's funny too because my good friend Tony Paul put that out on Twitter. That said the Michigan State golf program is very quickly going to make that available to the public to buy. And
I'd wear it.
Yeah, and you look at it. You look at it now too. In this day and age of name, image, and likeness, Pyatt's just had a lot of business avenues that have come open to him because of this victory that he can now capitalize on. This was a big thing, not only for Pyatt personally, but economically as well, because he's in a position he can monetize this very bigly.
So you know, we were talking about how Pyatt can get paid, but we had a system before where if you did it in football, you couldn't get paid. If you did it in basketball, you couldn't get paid. But now
you can.
Now you can.
So
this is good.
Yeah, and he did the job. And again, this is exciting. It is exciting because he kind of grabbed a hold of social media, certainly locally, among the local Detroit sports media and a lot of the Detroit fans. He grabbed a hold of social media, and this is a big deal. Like we said, I mean, the who's who have won the U.S. Amateur. This is a stepping stone, Terry. These guys, man, they win this U.S. Amateur more often than not. They have very good PGA careers.
Right, and now this gives me more reasons to watch on Sunday. If he's in the contention, I'll check him out. Because usually I only watch the final round of a golf tournament if Tiger's in contention. Now, if my man Pyatt's in there, I'll probably check it out too.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that excites me about it for him personally, again, if he wants to sign an endorsement deal with Callaway, he can do it now. And he can still keep playing for Michigan State. And he can do whatever he wants to do. So a lot of avenues are open to him. That was a very...
and guess what else we'll see? We'll see Neal Ruhl on the first tee pulling out his Callaway driver.
I am available. I did play some bad golf on Saturday over the weekend. So, you know, I haven't played that badly, and it's been a couple months, Terry. I wasn't happy about that at all.
What happens? Even the best of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what that game does. They should instead of calling it golf, it should be humble. Just call it humble.
Yeah, it is, because that's what it is. But Tom Izzo said Michigan State's a golf school now, Terry. Your thoughts? They are to some degree.
Sure, why not?
Because here's what I found about working in college athletics. It doesn't matter what the truth is. It matters what the moments are. And if you have a big moment like that, and I take Oakland, and Greg Campy always tells the story. Oakland in 2005, they went to the NCAA tournament. They were 13-19. They won 3 conference tournament games by a combined total of like 8 points or whatever. But no one remembers that. That banner hangs in there. No one remembers that.
The NCAA team. That's right.
The NCAA tournament team. That's what it is. What do you got popping the rest of the day, Terry?
I have to do busy work. We are moving our son into the dorm next week, so I have to clean his refrigerator and clean his microwave.
Because those are going to be very, very valuable tools.
Yes.
Probably the most valuable tools.
And I have to sweep his carpet that he's got. So I am preparing my son for his move. That's what I'm going to be doing. Boring stuff. But you got to do it. I love doing it. Because normally I would not want to clean a microwave or clean a refrigerator, but it's my son's for college, so I'm gung-ho and ready to go.
Fans are excited about Luka Garza's golf game. They say that he drives the ball 400 yards with irons. When Luka Garza plays golf,
you know what?
He shoots 18.
Luka Garza, you know what his score was his last time he played?
What was it?
18. It was an 18.
Maybe he'll do that tonight in honor of the U.S. Amateur. He'll have 18 points and 18 rebounds with 18 blocks and 18 assists. What you got, Fish?
You know who else got an 18? Well, I think he actually got a 14. Kim Jong-un.
Explain.
I can't. I guess he just got all hole-in-ones.
That's what he said? Okay. But see, the difference is, Luka Garza actually did do those things. It's verified right here.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, but seriously, you know who the best golfers are in sports? Hockey players,
man.
Yeah.
Danny DeKaiser took $20 off me very, very easily out on the golf course, man.
Well, you're a chump for even being in that position.
Well, he was giving me strokes. I was like, I don't care how good this guy is. He give me this many strokes, dude. He's got to shoot a 67 to beat me, and I didn't play well. But, but they are. And the hockey guys, D-Mac's a great golfer. pretty much anybody on the Red Wings. You always watch that celebrity thing that's out in Tahoe. Mm-hmm. It's always hockey player. Mike Modano's a guy.
Yep.
You know, all those hockey players.
Best hockey player I saw play golf was Nick Lidstrom. They were, I don't know why we were playing behind. It must have been some tournament or something. We were at the Hollow.
Hickory Hollow?
Hickory Hollow. I mean, he was just killing it. And wasn't he was hitting it long. He was just hitting it where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, every single time. Yeah,
Right.
Those hockey guys, man, they got some mad hand-eye coordination. What do you got, Fish?
How come none of those hockey players win the American Century Championship? How come no?
Listen, it's always that Jack Wagner guy, isn't it? The guy from General Hospital or whatever.
Well, it's him.
Rick Roden.
Tony Romo's in contention a lot of times.
Tony
Kurt
Romo,
Warner.
yeah, Tony Romo thought he was going to play on the tour for a while.
He did.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he always talked. He qualified for the U.S. Amateur, or tried to qualify or something like that. Like, he's a stick. There's no doubt. There are Hollywood guys and athletes that are sticks, man, that can play, that take it seriously. They take their clubs with them on the road trips. And
Did you include Charles Barkley in that?
No, I didn't include Charles
Okay.
Barkley.
Just-
His swing.
He got his swing
gotten
fixed,
better.
though.
Yep, it's gotten better,
I know
Terry.
it is fixed, but
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of those guys, though, man, they can play. They can certainly play some golf. So, you know, it is, though. Pistons back in action tonight in the NBA Summer League. I'll be locked into that, Terry. You going to watch? You going to get done with the task? You going to break
I
down Luka
will
Garza?
run home and do my task so I can see this.
Yeah, and you know, bust out the MyBookie app if you're into that kind of thing. And I think the Pistons minus 1.5. I think that's about as rock solid as it gets.
Don't bet on Summer League games.
I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm just saying.
That means you got a problem. Be careful now.
Well, but people are out there in these preseason games, man.
I wouldn't touch that either. I'm just saying be careful. That's all I'm saying. I'm looking out for you. I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys, do what you want to do. We need the tax money in the state of Michigan. So get
you know what?
to mybookie.ag.
Did you read the Sports Illustrated story on the gambling craze?
No, I didn't. I missed it.
Michigan, they had a chart. Michigan is like the number 6 or 7 state in the nation as far as revenue, but it's like 20th in tax revenue.
I wonder if it's the tax agreements and stuff like that. I wonder. I mean, I'm not. We got to get. I'll get somebody on in the future. I know my guy Matt Shook from Play Michigan. He could probably.
Yeah, tell him why the state's not getting much tax money from there. Like
Yeah.
Pennsylvania and New Jersey were number 1, and then Michigan was kind of like 6th or 7th as far as betting, because people here are betting, but then it was like 18th or 20th as far as tax revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you stick around, too. Coming up at 2 o'clock, The Bottom Line. If you haven't checked that one out, Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway will be in the house.
And I see them in the other room. They're already fighting, so it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. Eating lunch and fighting at the same time, pointing and while they're chewing their food and all that kind of stuff. No, but make sure you stick around
Braylon
for that.
just smacked Ryan, so I don't know what's going on there.
It was deserved. I'm sure it was deserved. But make sure you download the Woodward Sports app. Do that. Get in that app store. Get in that Play Store. You'll have it with you. Go back, watch any of the shows you missed. And the YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. All the little highlights and all the clips and everything, you can go back and you can watch those at your leisure. So we're trying to just bring you the content. All you got to do is consume it. Terry, appreciate you stepping in today for the guys,
Thanks for having
man.
me. Because I know you weren't enthused when you had to call me. He says, D-Mac and Joykin out here. Can you come in? I'm like, yeah, sure.
I would never be like that, man. Terry, you're my guy, man.
Right,
you know
beautiful.
that. I'm about T-Foss. I'm absolutely deep in the streets. You guys got anything else, Art, Fish? We're good to roll? Absolutely. Make sure you check out The Bottom Line coming up at 2 o'clock. My name is Neal Ruhl. He is Terry Foster. Thank you, everyone, for watching Big D Energy here on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.